Dr. Diamond is a psychoanalyst and clinical psychologist with decades of research and analysis of the father and son relationship. With his book, My Father Before Me, he demonstrates the power of this relationship and how it shapes the man and the boy, as well as the man the boy will become.
That's so important in life, and no matter what we do, but certainly as parents, because there's so much we don't know. We don't know who our children are. We're discovering them all along the way. And to be able to carry or bear that kind of openness, that uncertainty, is such a gift for the child, because that means they don't have to try to mold themselves into some kind of preconception that we have about them. We don't know a lot about what we're to do at any particular time. Hopefully the book is designed in part to fill out a little more so we can know a little more, but so much we don't know.
You use this term called good enough.
Oh, yeah. To me, good enough, it actually was a phrase that was coined about mothers by a very famous pediatrician and psychoanalyst, Donald Winnicott, in the 40s and 50s. And I've applied it to fathering, because I think what it does is it doesn't present any sort of ideal of how a father has to be, but rather provides a kind of guideline for what really works, which is for a father to be a fallible human being, but with a real responsibility for the role of helping guide his children in various ways at different times in different ways. So good enough is something that a father can hold on to if he knows he's doing good enough, is an ideal about himself, or rather an attitude about himself that allows him to accept failures at times, limitations, the uncertainties, the not knowings, and so on, knowing that in the long run it's going to be good enough. He can be good enough without, in other words, with making plenty of mistakes that are inherent in one of the impossible professions, you might say, which is parenting.
Well, one of the underpinnings that goes through here, and I literally mean float through here throughout the whole book, not so much in detail, but you sense, and you mention it once, which is what makes me want to bring it out, the relationship between the father and the mother was as so important as well to the child's development. How that relationship plays out is key.
Yes, I call it the parenting alliance, and how important it is that mother and father have an alliance about parenting. You know, fathers, when they're involved, they're not Mr. Moms, they're not junior mothers. They bring their own set of values and ideals and biological predispositions and so on to the fore. And mothers are not, you know, secondary fathers. They're different, and that's part of the difference that they bring that complements each other so well. So what becomes very crucial, I think, in parenting is an alliance between the two, where there's a fundamental respect, where the mother doesn't kind of co-opt her children against the father, and the father doesn't do that against the mother. And even if the mother or the father disagrees with what the other has to say, they deal with it together in private, in their own alliance, rather than acting it out on the children, bringing the children into the middle of whatever the differences are in parenting style. So they work together.
You know, Doc, a topic like this, I know people are going to want to explore further, get the book, but also you said you will respond to people from your website if they...
Yes, sure.
If you can, I'm going to give it out then for you.
Sure.
It's www.drmichaeljdiamond.com, but it's spelt D-R, just D-R, no periods in here at all, drmichaeljdiamond.com. I wanted to talk about something that you also, you left a little hook for me to grab onto, and I thought in my own relationship was so important, and that is the role of other men.
And of course that entails the father being able to be comfortable enough with other men taking on primary roles with his son or his daughter. In other words, not falling prey to competition in a way that becomes destructive. So that means being able to let a son go to his coach when he needs it, or his piano teacher, or his literature professor, and use them as mentors for different facets of his life. This really comes into play during young adulthood, the so-called Odyssey years, and when young men are really trying to find themselves in the world, and in many ways separating more distinctively from their family of origin, they turn to other men, men outside their fathers, to become mentors, and how important it is in the workplace, for example, for an older man, an older experienced man, to mentor a younger man.
Well, you know, as I said, I brought my dad out here, and the thing that he's doing now in his 80s is going back into the schools and working with young kids.
That's great.
And doing that same form of mentoring that, again, if the child, whether he has a father or not, could still use that wisdom.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's something that's been a little deficient in our culture as we've broken down so many of the family ties where older men were always involved with younger men and children. Now we have to kind of create structures to allow that to happen.
Dr. Diamond